Welcome to Ulua. You live, you work, you art.
Hello, I'm Carol from Ulua, and today we are going to talk about communities. And I think communities are great, at least in the concept of a community, what it means, and it can also be used as a tool for your thinking, for your growing, for your learning. But it also has, or they also can have some I don't know if dam machine effects, but they can have some downsides or a dark side that we will be talking mostly about today. And I want to mention that I have talked about communities for some time now, and I remembered I had talk like this that I was doing live at the moment, and I will link the description. I will leave the link in the description below, because at the time I was talking about communities and how communities can foster change, how to build or some tips to build communities, and how with the community you can start a movement, or you can start creating change, we could say. And at the time, it was like the first stages of this idea that I talk sometimes about mind diversity, and how maybe having a close community can create this hive mindset, or this idea of one mind is equal to everyone in the community. And I will be talking a little bit more about this here in this episode. I think, as I said, communities are great when they are open enough. Maybe at the start, communities just start with one idea in mind, or with one movement in mind, one thing. Maybe it's a logo, or it's a slogan, a phrase to keep all on the same page. But if they are not open enough in time, or if they are not growing, that's my perspective, my idea, I think they can die because of entropy, as we were talking at the time. Entropy is this idea: if you are not growing, you are somehow dying. So I talked more about it in that video. But one of the things that I've found, and I've created communities, I've been in communities before as a participant. I've learned a lot for communities. Right now, I wouldn't say I'm active in any particular community, but I know it's good, especially if you are starting with some new idea. It's good for you as the starter of the community, and also it's good for you if you want to learn more about a certain topic that the community is specialized in. So in general, what I see now, and yes, in general, what I see now is the communities are getting too close, or the ones I've seen anyway. I haven't seen all of them, of course, but the ones I've seen, they are getting so close, and so you can find opposite communities fighting for the truth that they are trying to express or trying to understand. And I think that's one of the darkest places that we have right now with communities. Another thing that's going on with communities is that trolls are arriving. So from one community, a troll arrives to a new community and starts spreading. I don't know if hate is the word, but it's used a lot, so we'll use hate. This hate among the members of a certain community, and they say, no, you're completely wrong, you are lying to people, those kind of things that are happening. And instead of going like a contrarian. I think contrarians are great because they can introduce other thoughts that maybe the community hadn't had in mind at the time, but they are just going with a sense of superiority or sense of, I don't know, they want to only emphasize what the others are doing wrong, instead of trying to construct something or building up on the things that I've been talking about, the community is talking about. So I think that's a very bad behavior to have in a community. That's from my point of view, of course. And maybe that is something that's been, it's not from just from one day to the other, just started to be that way. But I think the more close the communities have been, the more this behavior has been arising. And though I said I was about to talk about the good things, I'm talking about the bad ones. But I will be mixing a little bit of the things as I recall them and as I remember them. So yeah, there are some good things, like you, for example, share tools. As I say, I have been in several communities where we share tools. We said, okay, maybe we want to solve a problem, so you can use this, you can use that, and everybody was giving you some idea on how things could be better for your activity, your work, whatever you were doing. And I think that interchange of ideas or tools of thinking can help you grow and understand and think about other things. So yeah, it's really good for personal growth. And on the other side, for example, another thing, as I was saying about all the hate that arises in these trolls and that kind of thing, also sometimes you feel that if the community is close enough, they are just, because communities are collectives, are a collection of people. And as a collection of people, if you stay too long on a place, you will melt your mind, or you will be assimilated by the community. That's the idea of the name of this podcast, of this episode. So you might be inside a community and having assimilated maybe in your thoughts. You are just part of the community. You are one mind. The whole group is just one mind. And that reminds me of the Borg in Star Trek. The Borg is, I could say it's like a community, a collective actually, with one mind. They all think the same, they all do the same, and they try to assimilate others. They try to assimilate others and technology. They try to get people who have consciousness into their network. It's just a closed network of Borgs. They call the name of this race, we could say. They all think the same way. And I think that were the most dangerous thing for you if you want to be a critical thinker, or if you want to grow. If you just want to be part of the collective, that's okay, you will be assimilated. But if you were to continue growing in your ideas, in your thoughts, building your mind palace even greater, with new ideas, with new things, with new tools, with new methods that you want to incorporate into your own mind, maybe it can be something that you don't want to stay too long on a community. Because also communities, what they do when they have, and I'm just talking about the bad, we could say the dark communities, they start to close and close and close enough so no new thoughts are let into the community. And I see this a lot. I will tell you a little story, an anecdote. The other day I was looking for. Actually, it just appeared magically. I don't know why, because I'm talking about thinking, and that's maybe the reason the algorithm showed me a YouTube video that I found super interesting, because it was about thinking, about different levels of thinking and different methods and frameworks that I was some I did know, but some others I didn't, and I found that really interesting. And I said, wow, this channel might have so many things that I can learn from. So I went to the channel and I realized this was just only this excellent video, excellently. The person that was telling these ideas was super articulate, was really great. I really loved the video. But when I see the other videos, he had only this one that was, at least from my point of view, was excellent and was super enlightening. And the other ones just were for a specific community. And I have nothing against this community. It was about masculinity and how to, and I know, just bear with me because I'm not against masculinity at all. But what I do think is when you just talk about, you have this brilliant mind, which I think that person has, but you only focus to certain things, and please don't get me wrong here. I don't mean that masculinity is a bad thing inherently. It's not at all. But I saw a video specifically so you can understand what I'm going to in this point. I saw a video, for example, that said that people, what is your value as a person, and how you can go out. For example, if you are a man and you value yourself, your perceived value is a 10, how can you go out with a person that's valued like 2? Women, for example, that's valued as 2. And I found that, for me at least, I think that valuing people or getting, I could say, like monetary value or some kind of value in this, it's just people just like that. I found that it's difficult for me to express this, but I don't think we can value people as if they were just some object and good that I go and buy at the supermarket. So I don't think valuing people like this is correct, but maybe I'm missing the context, I don't know. But I don't think I am. Maybe I am, but I don't think I am. So, and I've seen so many other things. Also, I'm not saying just about masculinity, also about women. And I'm saying, oh, men do like this, men don't like that. And we don't know, we are just people, and there are so many people in the world that we can't just say, do this and don't do that. There are so many grays in the middle, and that's one of the reasons also that this channel has started, because I think we need to expand our mind to build our own palaces, mind palaces that are a little bit more human and not just binary, good, bad, evil, and better and worse. No, that's my idea, of course. But anyways, I think these kinds of communities are separating us instead of trying to understand the other part, which I say they are the bad ones. So we are doing something, let's call it the othering. We as a community are the good ones, and they are the baddies. So maybe we are both the baddies, or maybe none are the baddies. And Maybe there are just different points of view, and if we put the time into understanding why the others think that way, why we think this way, it would be maybe more beneficial. I'm not saying for the community, just for you to gather other ideas and other perspectives and understand that with their particular context, they are thinking in the way that they are thinking. And maybe from a global perspective, you can have other ways of thinking. Or if you are in a certain place, you will think like this. And maybe if you have been born in the opposite side of the world, you will think completely different. So again, I think this type of separation with super close communities, and I'm just talking about men and women, but there are so many others. But yeah, I think that we should be maybe in a community a little bit more open to other things and not just be closer. No, this is like this and everyone else is wrong. They are the ugly duckling. They are the ones that should be excluded for our community, from our community. And yes, I'm generalizing here and I'm talking like in another level of maybe more abstraction. I'm not talking about the concrete and specific communities. And I've also seen this in other communities, for example, from work communities, project managers versus agile coaches or agile people or Scrum masters. Like they are two separate things and they shouldn't be mixed under any case. And I don't think that's constructive at all. So yeah, that's my point of view. And another thing I was watching the other day was a lecture from Stephen Fry, who is a comedian, and actually I think he's more than a philosopher now also. John Cleese, who is another comedian from the UK, both of them. And I think that's where I think, for example, that we need to embrace other activities and also why artistic thinking is, in this case, super close through these two people, super close to philosophy and thinking. Maybe you say artists, they don't think. But in this case, for example, Stephen Fry, John Cleese, they are people that come from comedy and they have a wider and bigger perspective on how things, how the world functions. So I do think artists have a lot to say, have a lot to things they can bring to any community or to most of the communities. So, okay, coming back. Stephen Fry was given a lecture and he was talking about AI, and he said he was given the context on, for example, in the 90s, he was super excited that all this, the internet and social media things were coming to our global space, and all this technology was letting us be more connected. And that was the main idea, the main purpose of all of this. And it struck me when he said, we started with the disruption of things. So we started disrupting, and disruption was a great thing. So he said, disrupt this, disrupt that, disrupt that way of thinking, disrupt this way of transporting, for example, with Uber, and disrupt this, I don't know, with social media, new ways of communicating, and all those kind of things. There was disrupting, and he said disrupt comes from the Latin that means breaking. And so we started disrupting so much. At a certain level it was good, but in the end we have now a broken world. So we have separate communities, everyone is broken, and in their own community, and they don't communicate, as was the main intention of social media, to be open to all ideas, to all to more knowledge. And now we are just broken people in broken spaces, in broken little communities. Hey, actually didn't say it specifically that way, but I'm trying to extract those ideas. So yes, we are nowadays even more broken. We have more communities, but less communication. Again, we have more knowledge, but less certainty of things. I don't think uncertainty is bad, inherently bad. I think it's good in a way. But we have gone to the other extreme of being assimilated by the communities, by being too disrupted and too broken. And also to be in these little communities, little broken, I will say, communities with a plain mind, with a leveled mind. There's no maybe new ideas coming. It's all just regurgitation of the same things. And from what I've seen, again, there might be, I'm sure, certain communities that are still evolving. I've known some, yes, and maybe I could say those are evolving. But what I see the most is just all the same content, like we call it in Spanish, I don't know in English, refrito. It's like always the same. It's like using the same refry, like you fry and fry and fry again the same things. The same chicken wings or the same nuggets, all and all again in the same fryer. You know, at the end of the day, you have something that's burnt, or it doesn't have the flavor that you thought it would have in the first place. So, should we say that communities are bad? I don't think they are bad. Again, bad, good, I don't know. There might be some stages in your level of thinking, or in your way of thinking, or in the construction of your mind palace, that you want to belong to a certain community and you want to extract all the knowledge you want from them because you think it's valuable for your own thinking. But I think nowadays staying too long in a community is kind of, it has the risk for you of being assimilated. You could ask, why is it bad to be assimilated? Maybe I'm okay with it. Yes, you could be okay with it. But I think in the long run, especially as I was saying, that we are trying to talk here about growing, about building your mind palace, for it to be bigger every time that you can, if you want. If you are here, I assume it's because you want to be a better thinker. And even though we haven't yet got into tools for thinking, or to specific methods or specific frameworks or theories of thinking, because I want to build it from easier perspective, that everyone can find their own way. But yeah, I think right now we need, because we have all this disruption, all these broken communities, we need to start to integrate again. Okay, it's perfect. We have gone from social media coming with all this knowledge and everything divergent. As I always say, I don't know, by diversion it's opening. And then now we are we have closed all the points, it's a process, of course, but we need to be open again. So it's like just life. You open, you close, you open, you close. It's a process. And I think we are now in the verge of the moment that we have to, and I will say where that in Spanish is not actually taken the same way, but it's synthesizing. I mean, going to an upper level of abstraction, we could say. So we have to diverge a little bit so we grow into that direction. And synthesis, in Spanish, when you say, okay, I will make a synthesis, we talk about generally summing up. It's like the common knowledge, but actually synthesis is about abstracting different ideas from different theories and frameworks and methods and making something a little bigger, like understanding it from an upper level. And yeah, so I think it's super important for us that if you want to stay in a community, you have to have it. I mean, it's not wrong staying in a community, it's perfectly, and you can be at several you can be in several communities at the same time. That's good. But I'm talking about why staying too long with the same man and not growing. That's the thing that can get you down or drag you down or disrupt you or break you. So you can be in a community, but then if you're too long there and you are not growing, you are not thinking new things, or you are not thinking about your thinking, or you are not leveling up your thinking. So if you are not getting new levels of thinking from that community, and if you stay too long there, you will be stuck, we can say, stuck. But this stuckness can mean you will have a poor decision making, because you will stay stuck with information that's no longer relevant, or maybe it's no longer updated enough for the problems you have to solve. And there's a great phrase that says you can solve a problem at the same level it was created. So you have to level up in order to solve the problem that has been created. And if you are stuck, you are just at the same level, and you might not be able to solve this problem, right? And also if you are stuck, you don't get new ideas, your creativity gets stuck too. You start to be more on this blank page status, that you don't come up with new things. And this is also risky for yourself, because if you are, I don't know, let's say trying to invest in a new business and you are just stuck with things from the past, we know the world is so rapidly changing right now, and if you are stuck with things that happened, I don't know, in the 50s, you may not be able to innovate, for example, for your business, right? And again, I'm not saying that the things in the 50s are not relevant still today. There are some things that are, but some others aren't right now. So you need to be more aware of where you are. And you can be also stuck by being, as I was saying, assimilated with this universal mind, of this universal way of thinking in an only community. And there are some times where you need to be more individualistic, and I'm not saying that's a good thing per se, but in certain times you need to think for yourself, and you need to be critical on the things you are reading, learning, listening to. Even this video, you can say maybe you don't like these ideas, and that's perfect. That if you express them, then maybe you can help others also grow. For example, if you comment, I don't like this because of this, and this, and you have a perspective created on the things that we are saying, that can also help me maybe grow. It's some kind of feedback, and I can take it or leave it, but it will help me think about the things too. For example, I'm saying about me as this channel, but you can also do that with others. But not just by hating or say, oh, you're stupid or you're an idiot. That doesn't help anyone. Not even yourself. If you're thinking about yourself and you say, oh, that's an idiot, why? Why is it you consider that people is an idiot? We tend to do this because we are overwhelmed by things that are going around in our world. So we don't have time to really think why we don't like the other person. We should say, oh, he's an idiot. And I know because I used to say that. Until somebody told me, asked me this question, I said, why do you think they are idiots? Or who do you consider idiots? And then I stopped for a moment and I thought, oh, I think idiots are the people that I don't like. And that was a huge learning for me. Because it wasn't that they were idiots. It was just me that didn't want to think about why I didn't like that person. So anyways, I'm making a little, I don't know how much time we have spent here, but I think it's really important for you to think if you want to be assimilated as part of the community, or you want to think for yourself and build your best and greatest mind palace for yourself. And once you have that, or in the process of doing that, you can also help others see different points of view. And I think that's really relevant for the world we are living today, this broken world. So, thank you for being here, and I hope you, if you want, you can just comment. As I was saying, the best way to do it is with some idea, with some feedback. So, and of course, I won't tell you that if you want just to throw hate, you can do it. You do whatever you want. You do you. So have fun. Thank you. Bye.
Stay tuned for Uluwa's next episode.